girls, welcome to another AnthemCast. I am one of your hosts, Gaz, but of course, joining me from the other side of the world is a man who, well, I mean, let's face it, Binary, it's not very long for the VIP demo, and you look like someone who is very much a VIP.
Well, yeah. A very incompetent person is definitely the right word. I'm good. I've got my Thick Boy t-shirt on, even though it's probably more of a skill-up Thick Boy. Yeah, I'm good.
I can't believe Skill Up's got a Thick Boy shirt.
I know, it's meant to actually. No, I don't know if you want to see it. Yeah, there we go. No, Thick Boy. Probably need to swap around my... probably need to swap around so my webcam.
Wow.
So people read it the right way. But,
good lord.
I'm good, man. Oh, do you know what? It's been a busy week. It's like that first week back after work, after the Christmas break. I know you're down in Australia where like Christmas is summer for you, but it's winter for us, right? So
yeah,
everything's you just stay inside and you basically do nothing but vegetate in your own pants and crap with family, which is amazing. But then you have to go back and do a week of work, and the first week back is just torture. Like I don't know, I feel like I've done 6 months already. I don't know what anyone else feels like when the first week back after Christmas, but yeah. How about you, sir? You're looking very well. You're looking very tanned.
Poor Diddums. Well, it's like 37 degrees Celsius in Australia right now. We're cooking up right here.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Yeah, that and lots of outdoor stuff, of course. But it's been a big week in terms of Anthem, of course. With thanks to IGN, of course, we've got IGN first. We made fun of them a little bit last week, but I think we can agree they've got some pretty good coverage, some good clips. Not a lot of commentary though. We talked about this just a moment ago before stream, didn't we? That whilst they are, they're doing a lot of things. They've had the Storm. Sort of 5-minute piece. They've had the Interceptor 5-minute piece. They've had the Lost Arcanist mission, of course, the first thing they dropped. And now, of course, in the recent days, the Freeplay, an 8-minute Freeplay video. But it is curious that there hasn't really been much commentary to that effect. I think they've kind of almost chosen, perhaps intentionally, to really keep it sort of literally free play, let us to see the action, the game in action, the visuals, the sounds, and to just not be interrupted. Do you think that's probably intentional, or do you think that they're lost for words?
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Yeah, IGN I've always been a little bit funny with anyway, but I think it's great to see 15 minutes and more gameplay, which is fantastic. And yeah, I think they could have done a slightly more better job, and they could have done a better job not copyright striking us as well. But
yeah, that was fun, wasn't it? Thank you, IGN, for that. So we did we have captured footage from Sweden as part of the Game Changer program, and we thought that what we would do is run a side by side, which was basically it was very small, wasn't it? Like it was only probably a quarter of the screen, and we did a side-by-side with the IGN team play just to talk, I guess to show a really good example of single play versus team play in exact, synchronized as best as I could. I spent a little bit of time getting that right too, and they copyright struck, and I was just like, really? Come on, guys, really?
Yeah.
Anyway, is what it is.
Yeah. Copyright striking out the window. Anyway.
So for you content creators out there, just be mindful of that. It is part of the deal. But we'll see how that transpires. Of course, there is certainly more from IGN that's coming, and more importantly, at the same time, we've had JoyeuxVideo.com. Now, JoyeuxVideo is a French site that did some wonderful interviews, and I would actually argue, I was saying to you before, Binary, I was actually more impressed with what those guys have done. Almost, by a large margin over what we've seen from IGN, because their coverage has been interviews. They've been talking about artificial intelligence. They've been talking about enemy AI. They've been talking about questions that I think probably that has not been. I mean, we actually posed a few questions. Well, we scripted a few questions, I should say, to BioWare for a couple of interviews. and we weren't allowed to ask certain questions, and unfortunately some of those were the ones that were talked about here. So it was good to see, like, there's detail and gameplay, and the cuts were sweet. They had great cuts across. Anyway, we're going to be talking about that shortly. So the plan for today's episode really is to reflect on that 8-minute reel from IGN, and we basically created a condensed reel of all the gameplay footage from the JoyeuxVideo.com site, so that we can assess and compare our experiences with Freeplay. Now, of course, we have had some insights into pretty much all the missions that you're going to see here. I thought there was one there that we hadn't, but in actual fact, you might recall, Binary, there's a mission where you have to rescue an inoperable Strider, which needs some repairs.
That's right.
And I'd forgotten that mission completely, and there it was. So we'll be able to talk about that. The cosmetics, of course, coming up. The Colossus Sniper, which is the first time that we've seen the sniper in action.
First time.
And a few other things, no doubt, that we can talk about this evening for the next, I'd say, probably the next 30, 35 minutes in terms of conversation. But all good, all good. I'm just seeing the comments starting to come out now. Everyone's saying hello and whatnot. Good to see. How's everyone going? Catface2 says, I forgot Gazzy is cute.
Yeah. That's only because I've cut out the chin, the goatee, mate. Sorry. If you show the goatee, it might change.
Are you green screening this puppy? Dear, oh dear me. But anyway, we'll let's take a look at some of this. There's been a few tweets, of course, recently. I mean, look, I kind of, for a while there in the AnthemCast, we were going through a lot of the tweets, and I think you can kind of find that once you explore tweets over and over in a conversation, it kind of becomes a bit bland. So there's nothing like massively outstanding or ridiculously awesome in the recent week that I think that has shattered the world. There is one interesting tweet that I will make reference to, and it was by Mike Gamble, and he actually talked specifically about if you ordered at retail. He's actually given us very specific details about what you should do if you've done so, and that, of course, you'll get a code, and that code you'll enter into your console. And again, it's very systemic and very obvious, but it's the first time we've actually had that confirmation from the crew. There's a few others in there. If you are interested in checking that out, of course, no doubt we'll be able to put that up there, but it's anthemuniverse.com/dev-tracker. So Binary, I guess you've tweeted and shown that in the past, haven't you?
Yeah, it's also on screen now as well. Yeah.
Awesome. So yeah, our good friend Tindervel has worked really hard to really combine that together into the site and package it up nicely, and it really has become my go-to now. Our Twitter is kind of getting a bit out of hand lately, which is a good thing, but it also means that we're missing some of these things, and that the dev tracker has really, I guess, helped us keep on top on some of those elements, no doubt, that will be important. So do check that out. Of course, the FAQ section is there. And let's not forget the countdown timer, because why the hell not, right?
Oh, yeah, and the countdown timer. Now let me get out.
It's the final countdown. All right. Anyway, where were we? Let's bring the frame in for this video. We're going to take a look at the IGN video at first, and there's a few things that I'm going to call out in that. In particular, some enemy types that you'll see that perhaps you haven't seen before, and some conversations there. So I'm not sure, Binary, is that in frame at the moment for the feed?
I'm putting it in. Oh.
Awesome. Awesome. Mm-hmm.
Okay. You might have to do a quick play. Just press play on, or choose a video.
Press play on tape. I'm going to press play.
Which one are you choosing?
I'm going to choose the IGN one to start with. We're going to play that first. I've just hit play.
Okay, cool. We got it.
You got it?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Cool. So I'm just going to
take a look at Freeplay Expedition.
I might pull it back to 0.75 speed to give us a little bit of insight. Now, of course, we're seeing Interceptor. So, I mean, and Storm, in this case, the two characters, the two javelins they've chosen to use in Freeplay. 8 minutes of Freeplay. What were your, I mean, did anything really excite you just to start with in terms of Freeplay itself?
Do you know what? The whole free play thing is just, it's fantastic. Being able to fly around and encounter stuff So it doesn't seem very forced. The world feels full and alive, which is actually something really nice. And that was actually something that also existed like back when we played, right? It was cool seeing some new animals and creatures as well. Yeah, and it's the UI style look really polished now, which is great.
It is. You actually mentioned that, didn't you? And you're exactly right. The UI has changed a lot in the last 6 months. Well, at least when was our first interactive report? September, October,
yeah,
September.
Yeah.
So since then, it has changed dramatically and in a very good way. And it's been good to see that, of course, the capture footage from IGN. You'll notice that I'm just freezing here on the Frost Wolven. There's of course Wolvens and Frost Wolvens out there.
Yeah, they look
and
cool.
There's one here.
Like
Look at this one.
armors.
This one gets destroyed. Where is it? Like, if there's an overkill power for that, I love it. But anyway, so the storm flew around. Now, of course, there were some questions. If you went through the YouTube comments, which I recommend you don't do, by the way, for the IGN video, yeah, there's much pain to be had.
Yeah. Oh no, I love going through YouTube. Right? Same as Reddit. It's like whenever I want to feel better about my humanity, I go there. There is no humanity in those comment sections.
That's it. And of course, we're seeing on screen the Teslas. If you've seen them come up, there we go. It's beautiful. They stand out. There should be like a trophy hunter award for them, right? Just like the Grabbits. Harvesting minerals. Did that have I don't think that had a name on it, did it? I'm just going to skip back that for a sec. No, did it? Just harvest. And of course, in a moment, I think you'll see, I believe, the first Outlaw
Enforcer.
Bang. There he is. So the Outlaw Enforcer. Now, I don't know what your thoughts on this. I'm going to ask the community on this one, whoever's in the chat right now. Yeah. I mean, what are your thoughts on the impressions about the Outlaw faction? I mean, Binary, we've played against the Outlaw, and we're seeing it here again. Are you satisfied with it? Do you think it stands out? Is it unique enough? What are your thoughts?
Well, I don't know. I think it's a little bit hard to give context to them without understanding where their backing story is. I'm hoping they clearly don't seem that formidable, but I'm hoping they're a bit more formidable than the beasts are, or the creatures. Yeah, I think we have. I'm not sure if we're going to have multiple different factions. I sort of hope we do. But yeah, we'll see.
Like the reason I asked is again,
suits as well, though, aren't they? Yeah.
I mean, I've raised this before. They're in storm suits, but I've raised it before. But yeah, the profile is so unique for the Scar, and I've been a bit of a whiner about this point. Maybe I should just shut up. But the profile for the Scar is always it's unique. You know what I mean? Like you can see it. Yeah. It's distinct. It's clear. It's bright. You can see the eyes, the spikes. It's like that's a Scar. Yeah. But with the other factions, you kind of, as you say, like so the Dominion are using a storm suit for their Valkyrie, and now the Outlaws have them as well. So it's like. It doesn't seem. It seems like it's a similar conversation, isn't it? Like it doesn't seem unique. But I don't know, maybe I'm just back up on tree. I don't know, but it raises some questions. I don't know. We'll see. Obviously, we're only seeing, and a good point I should add here is that Mike Gamble has actually made that recent on one of the tweets in the last few days when he mentioned that all of this capture footage is a select capture footage being made available to Game Changers and IGN and outlets. So obviously, what I'm getting at is there's a whole bunch of conversations that just aren't being shown right now. That they don't want to show you because obviously they have certain content they want to be made public now, but at the same time they don't want to spoil things and they want to keep things interesting and exciting for launch. So that does bring that into play.
He sells Javelin upgrades and modifications in Fort Tarsus.
All right, so I'm just going to keep playing, and of course we've got. Now this is the first. Now that they mentioned in this conversation here, this is a loot chest, which gives them one part of 3 that they're trying to collect, as you can see there. 3 amber pieces, and the commentary happens in a moment where they basically mention that they collect the remaining 2, and when they've done that, they find that a door opens up, as you can see right there, just behind that location, and of course that's when they get to go and to see, and this is where we get to see probably this would be the second time since June 2018 that we're seeing the Ash Titan in combat.
Yeah.
And this is right.
This is still a baby one too, isn't it? This isn't even the big boy.
Absolutely. And so the first time we saw this, of course, was June 2018. We saw the Ranger fire a few missiles that did about 1 damage, was it? Or 0? I think it was 0.
0?
Yeah. I don't recall it doing much.
No, I think it was like 1. It was like the same as that submachine gun that we saw the Storm shooting on.
Yeah. But you know, I don't recall it doing at least what we're seeing here. Now, they encircle the Ash Titan. The Ash Titan, of course, has this attack that you're seeing in a moment. What are your thoughts from what you've seen from this attack?
My thoughts on this attack, it looks good. At least you're actually standing up and you actually seem to be dealing a lot more damage. They've changed the animations though, haven't they, since the last time we've seen it? Like quite a bit. Like the animations have changed a lot. They've condensed it and made it a lot shorter in time.
I'm not sure what to take away from this right now, because you're seeing there's that repetitious there's the animation that repeats right there where he does the lift and of course fires out these fireballs, but they don't seem to be very they're not coming very quickly. They seem to be easily avoidable by both the characters.
Yes.
The Lesser Ash Titan was one of the most mechanically distinct enemies I came across.
Yeah, see, what I'm also liking now as well is what they've also done is the when you're low on health and damage, is you now sort of have that blood shade effect coming in from all sides of the screen, which is that's quite good.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go back a bit. But I just feel that, I mean, maybe we don't know what difficulty this Ash Titan. I mean, are we running on Freeplay on? I mean, I don't think it's Master, because that Ash Titan would be, well, it is a lesser Ash Titan, of course, but even at the same time, it just seems to be either far too easy, or in this case, the damage it's doing, and as you say, the movements in particular, it's very stoic. I mean, that's the design of it, yes. but even if it's stoic, it's not producing much damage. It's not really. It didn't really seem like much of a threat to these guys.
No, that's right. It didn't.
And I think that's where I was reading on the Reddit. There's a few people that raised those concerns. They're like, look, you know, I was waiting for an enemy that's going to be awesome and bombastic, and this guy just sort of stood on a bridge. He just stood on a bridge and took it, and that was it.
Titans aren't the only big bads in Freeplay.
Yeah, I guess we also don't know and we don't know enough about what the lore behind them is. Right? Because to me, they seem more like just guardians of the old Shaper world. They're there as a presence and as a deterrent, not necessarily like for war.
Titans aren't the only big bads in Freeplay. And on more than one occasion, a larger foe made an appearance.
And then, of course, we went on, beyond that, into some more Interceptor gameplay.
Yes, it's just amazing.
Have you changed your mind, or are you still, I'll make Colossus? Alright, now the Battle of the Ursix, of course. Now, we fought an Ursix, didn't we? No, fought an Elite Ursix, I think.
Yeah, the Ursix are great. I love that. It's a beast too. But
they take the damage.
Yeah.
And they spend their time here trying to take it out. And I mean, it seems to be susceptible to elements as well, which we knew historically. But it was good to see, I guess, a fight in Freeplay. I think a lot of people, again, based on what you're seeing from this fight, and of course with the Ash Titan, some people are kind of curious and perhaps not necessarily 100% satisfied with what they're seeing of enemy gameplay. But again, it's we're only seeing a very limited piece. But at the same time, I can understand why people be thinking that, because they're kind of thinking, well, these guys are just slow and lumbering. And when you're in a Javelin suit, you've got the option to obviously escape quickly.
Yeah.
Which raises a lot of questions, right? Because in the original development of this of the game, you know, probably 12 months ago, the original conversation was that you would not be able to fly in combat. So the whole point was that you would fly to a destination, and then you would be in combat on the ground. but they realized that was too boring. I mean, you're just limiting the player. But it also then inversely then gives every player a very kind of godlike escape route from all scenarios.
Yeah, but that's where you've also. But yeah, I mean, you can't get out indefinitely though. And what you find, and what we found actually, is quite a lot of the battles. Open free play is outside, but actually a lot of the when you get into the sort of story missions and stuff, they're actually inside caves and old relic buildings and stuff like that.
For example, acts as a giant pneumatic tube, making quick.
Yeah, I suppose the other point is that you don't have to engage in these battles. It's free play. Although to be fair, what's the payoff? Let's take a look. What is the payoff? I don't think it was that great, if I recall. What do they get? A couple of common items. There's a nice dance there. I missed that. Did you see that? Was it common items? They skipped before showing it.
Yeah, common items.
A common item.
That's the only thing, isn't it? Because with loot, and you've seen this through all this gameplay, is that you don't actually know what you've got until you end the session.
For extended periods of time.
Yes.
Almost all of it has to do with
but you're fine with that, aren't you? I think you said you were fine that you'd have to return to Strider or Fort Tarsus in order to see that.
No, that annoyed me.
That annoyed you? Oh, okay. I thought you were the opposite. Okay.
No, I like, if I collect it, I want to put it on there.
Just going to rewind this a little bit for a moment. There's a point there we missed, and as you can see that, just going to pause that circle coming up to the right. Of course, these are the conduits that connect and interconnect the Shaper relics into the planet. So these are going to be something that you'll be traveling and using quite a lot. And the good part is that you'll notice that they're used. You'll see a really good example of this, in fact, in the next clip from JoyeuxVideo, where they essentially use it for a return. So, you know, for example, if you had to get up a very sharp cliff very quickly, it'd actually be easier and quicker for you to take one of these, essentially a transporter, if you will, through the planet.
Or skimming along the surface of a river.
And of course, and you can see this shot, doesn't it? That really gives you the verticality, doesn't it?
Yeah.
When people sort of, I guess, don't really understand what's going on with Anthem, you see shots like that, that really puts things into context. They mentioned a few Easter eggs that around this point they talked about, some things that they found, some secrets they'd found, a javelin here that was down and out. Now, notice just a quick point here, just take a look to the right. Now, of course, we are playing as Storm at the moment. Just escaped me there. I'm just going to pause. And
I can see it.
Bang! See that?
Yeah.
So the Storm got one Storm part. It got 5 Storm parts, and 5 Colossus. Yeah. So again, I guess a reminder that even if you aren't leveraging that existing Javelin, of course, that you will get parts for others. Now, this is a last point I think that was of interest to this trailer. One of the first pieces of Codex lore that we've seen, really. I can't think of another. Have you?
No, that was the first time. I was so excited when I saw that. Yes.
It's not very interesting when you read it.
No, it's not. But the fact that it's there is great.
But essentially, I mean, yeah, I'm being a bit facetious. You can't read all of it, but the concept, of course, is that's what the Great Edian or something. So it sounds like a giant monster is part of the world, and I think this is the fossil remains of what that was at some point. And now there's an interesting piece here. The last pieces of this take, we'll see some Dominion shock troopers in a moment. Right there. So they're basically the grunts of the Dominion conversation, and you can see how quickly they go. And then I'm going to skip forward to here, and in a minute you'll see the Elite Dominion Frost Brute. I'm noticing that these enemies have a lot of words in their names. Right? Like we've got the Elite Outlaw Elementalist. You've got the Elite Dominion Storm Valkyrie. You've got the Elite Dominion Frost Brute. What are we going to call these in action?
He looks like one of them missile barrage things. So is that a creature?
Yes.
That's been trained in the ways of the Dominion, and then
correct.
A missile launcher put on its back.
Now, we first saw this in the NVIDIA trailer about 6 days ago. So there was a cut from the NVIDIA trailer that had the Frost Brute, yeah, so that was the first sight that we saw of that. And of course, this is confirmation that it's, as you say, maybe the Dominion are leveraging the Anthem of creation to forge and to enlist the beasts, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But they go down pretty quickly with the Interceptor. He makes very short work of it. And then lastly in this piece you will see a Storm Valkyrie, and right there, just in the top of the screen, which is going to cause you some grief, gamers. So if you like pain, George, your experiences? What were your experiences with that?
Oh, immense amount of pain. They're formidable, actually. You just got to get their shield down as quick as possible.
Yeah, if you've got an Interceptor, as soon as you get them to land, so I think we were taking them out. You had a Colossus, you took them out, and then as soon as they landed, if you had an Inti, someone had Inti rush in, carve them up, and then that was pretty good, a good way of doing things. Except on Master, that wouldn't work. I believe the word was one shot, wasn't it, Brian?
Yeah, that's right.
There was a lot of one-shots going on at that point. But get used to these guys. They will cause you much havoc because of the aerial element. One of the few enemies that actually are aerial-based, which I think is a bit surprising, considering that obviously we are aerial-based. I don't know how that will impact the future of the game. Maybe there'll be more aerial-based enemies. But I think there does need to be more, because we do have a distinct advantage with most of these enemies.
Yeah, we do. But I think that's also a good thing. But I don't think it's a good and a bad thing. I think it'll be just sort of like how we... it's how much of a challenge or how much they change. So a lot of the things we seem to attack don't have many.
Completing public events and generally exploring free roam rewarded us with gear, crafting materials, and experience.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's interesting. And as I said earlier, this is a very formidable enemy. The Dominion Valkyrie is painful. So, and that's purely because of that fact that once he gets in the air, they have the range and the ability to do a lot more than the other enemies. So it's very, very interesting to see how that pans out. That's the end of the take from IGN. So it was good to see that they had those conversations in Freeplay. It was good to see some interesting parts of that. But as I said earlier, I think something that we got personally more excited about was the conversation from JoyeuxVideo. These guys are a French outlet that actually got access to interviewing Ben Irving, John Warner, and Mark Dara. And this reel actually I compiled is basically just a quick reel that we use internally, and it's of all the gameplay snippets from that element. So we've chopped out some of the interviews just to, I guess, give us a visual look at the trailer itself. And you'll get to see that as I hit play now. And I'm not seeing any activity on that.
Oh, no, hold on. I might need to press play as well. Hold on. There you go.
Alright, cool. Of course, we saw, just at the beginning there, of course, a new Javelin, a new Ranger outfit we haven't really seen. This makes me think of Predator.
Does a little.
I'm not sure why.
A Ranger looks like a boss.
Yeah, it looks pretty mean. It's far meaner than the yellow, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I quite like that. Though you will find in this video there's some very interesting colors of choice, such as
pink.
Speak of the Devil,
yeah.
Our good friend Interceptor right here, and a very obscure set of colors used later on a Colossus, which we'll get to shortly. Now, the interesting part of this capture footage was that, as I said, they went into the forge. We saw some more personalization elements, and they also did an additional mission that we haven't seen previously, which involved rescuing a Strider. So if you're kind of getting sick of the same mission loops over and over, capture this, pick up this, move that, do this. This was a refreshing one to sort of go, well, there's an actual objective here where you got to rescue a Strider, which I think is a very novel idea. Oh, here we go. This was the Colossus I was talking about. Like, what is going on here? I'm just going to skip back that for a second, and you'll see... I'm looking for the gear components that they show there. Oh, wait. Ah, it's too quick. No, I'll let it go. But of course, Ranger, of course, in its journey. Now, if you look at the top of the screen, you'll see at the top right there, repair Strider, search ambush sites. That gives you an idea. This is a fresh mission for you. So I do suggest you you check out. We'll actually, if you're in the Discord, you'll be able to see the link to this. We'll put the link for this, of course, also in the YouTube channel as well. And of course, as the Ranger comes about. No, did we fight these fellows? I can't recall.
No. Well, the huge crab things? No.
Nah. No, I don't think we did. Oh, maybe in the... Oh, no, wait. Yeah, there was something we did.
That's a Raver's Colossus, right? So whoever's playing that Colossus right there is like a 90s acid pillhead.
Yeah, I mean, well, both of them. It's something. It's for sure. Of course, we see Ranger in full flight once again. Good old Iron Man at his best. Now, this is a shot from The Lost Arcanist, so some of you might find this shot familiar. I love this scene, though. The music in this scene is pretty cool. And, of course, the environment that you see, the reflections, the lighting, it's very nice. It's very foreboding.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to skip on. Now, the ruins, these ruins that we're seeing, I mean, there's this kind of medieval... This is the ruins that, of course, are from the Lost Arcanist mission, so you probably have all seen these. But the conversation I like is that you look at that, it's very, very medieval, very old school in structure. And there's a shot in a moment right there to the right. If you look at the structures here, this is great. You know, this actually looks almost like Byzantine. You know, it's almost like a Byzantine Empire kind of influence here. So I just love the I guess the things that are influencing the design team and the environmental artists is something that's yeah, I think it would be memorable. And these are little touches that you wouldn't be. I don't think I was expecting originally from the game, but it's good to see.
Yeah, those flying things are a pain in the ass. Those
wyverns are a pain. I think we just kept going, right? Just keep flying. That was the rule, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, on high difficulties, you don't want to be mucking around with those. When there's 6 or 7 of them, they're not fun. But they do enough damage for you to want to take care of them, though, if you can. Now, of course, this is great. This is a shot on top of the Strider, so you might be familiar with that angle there. Of course, you'll know that you've just look at the top on the far right there. That's the canopy in which you eject from your Strider, where you can do all your personalization and customization as your as your forward base of operations, if you will.
That's right. Yeah. I like the Striders. You know, they're pretty cool.
As in what, the Star Wars sort of influence?
Yeah. Yeah, I quite like them a lot. I think they're really clever.
Yeah, you'll notice there's a lot of scenes, and I'm only seeing it now after reflecting on a few of them, where there's down Striders, just as part of the world, just laying there in pieces and tatters. So it seems to be, I think they're very intrinsic to the lore, and I suspect we're going to see sort of more about what those look like. Maybe, I don't know, maybe the Dominion have their own, etc. Of course, some more action. Now, in those, I've been looking. If you look at the bottom right of the screen in terms of the gear, these guys are all using pretty much similar gear that we've seen from the builds in the previous thing. The only thing that looks new to me, if you look closely there for Interceptor on the far right, he has this sort of buzzsaw ability. Well, that's what I'm calling it. If you have a look, let's take a look. You'll see it being used in a moment. He will use it in this next second right now. Here we go. Yeah, it's like a ricocheting buzzsaw. Anyway, that's probably any difference. Other than that, you can see the build. We've seen this Interceptor build previously, the stars, and the damage on target amplifier. And what have we got here? This is an Elite Ursix this time, so it's a big daddy.
Yeah, those Elite ones are cool. And there's different elemental ones as well, isn't there?
That's right. Yeah. So again, that's the kind of stuff that you're not going to see. I think there'll be variables that. Oh, good God! Here it is again. How's that, community? That's a pillar of awesome right there. I don't know. Maybe some people really like it. Yeah, it's a good point there. Lol Anxiety mentions the Frostbite engine really does make the graphics pop, and I totally agree with you, sir. It looks like they've really mastered it because look at that. I love this. This is a great shot here, right? Just entering the position of the Strider. You look to the right there. Is that a down Strider over there? It could be, or some other architecture. But we haven't really seen many shots like this where it's just you in vision, in with a Strider in scope.
No.
And you get to the size of it here. I mean, the Colossus goes down, bang! Like, it really gives you the scope of how big this thing is.
Oh, I can't wait, man. 2.5 weeks. Demo again.
And of course, this is another take on the Ursix. No, is it Ursix or is it a Ash Titan? No, it's an Ash Titan that we see. It's a lesser Ash Titan, in fact. Now, this is a new scene coming out of into this cave. Now, interesting though, this is, of course, if you look at the top right, it says locate the egg source. And in particular, at the top right, if you look to the left of that, you'll see the little fort icon, which we know is the stronghold icon. So, of course, this is the crew currently entering a stronghold, which confirms that JoyeuxVideo obviously got to do a stronghold. This doesn't look like the one that we've done, though. This looks kind of fresh. Like, do you remember these binary? These shards here on the left?
No, I don't know.
I don't remember them, so that's why I'm kind of excited that this is new. Now look at that. Look at the scope, verticality. I love it.
Yeah, it just looks hot, man. It looks great.
Everyone's just sitting in chat going, I want it! Now there's some good stuff from Colossus coming up shortly as well. I like this build. I like this personalization. This is nice. It's got like gold highlights with bits of red and silver.
Yeah.
Oh, here's the shot I was talking about before. Just take a look at this. I'm just gonna back up. Watch the jump here. And this really gives you, like, if you want to convince someone and really explain to them, what this is about and how, I guess, height is used in this game, you'll see the verticality on the jump that just comes up in a moment, and it really is something. It gives you that scope. Bit of Interceptor. Now this is the Lost Arcanist again. This is a very familiar routine. I've seen this over and over. Of course, some codec entry unlocked, and those suits. I can't let it go. Now, would this be the second or third loot box entry opening that we've seen? Probably the third, yeah. Because we just saw one obviously in the IGN trailer. We of course saw one in the 2018 gameplay trailer that came out. But remember, we never actually saw what was inside it. In this case, we get to see what's inside the loot box, and as it turns out, what do we get? 1 uncommon, 4 rare. Now this is Arcanist associated. 110 of 400. What do you think that is, man? Is that like a mission progress?
I reckon. I think that's actually doing codec information.
Okay, so once you achieve 400, you unlock some location or something.
Yeah, I think that's probably all the information and lore that you'll find around them and how much is left.
Yeah, nice one. Yeah, and I've said it before in our previous coverage. I mean, like, you just can't deny this is the suit. Like if you want to show someone, you want to get them on board, the Colossus is the suit. It's just fun. It's just fun. Love that panning shot there of Interceptor. I'm going to use that for some tweets, definitely. now this is good. So back into the personalization screen, back into Forge. This is the first time I've been in the Forge since probably November.
That's right, yeah.
So this is really exciting. Like again, I don't think when people see this video that I'm kind of losing it here, but it really is an exciting insight because we haven't seen this for a while now. It looks pretty similar. I don't think anything's changed too much in the menus, other than of course them making arguably the ugliest javelins ever developed.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I quite like the lime green one.
Yeah. Yeah, this was the suit. I'm going to skip forward a bit. There's an emote that comes up in a moment.
The drunken crane.
The drunken crane. And of course the air guitar. So the drunken crane was new. The air guitar was not. We hadn't seen that before. And there's a few last minute things I want to cover on this before we wrap it on this clip. I'll skip forward to some snapshots into guns. Now, there's no inscriptions that I can see on these guns that are of anything particularly interest. If you remember, inscriptions are the variables that come with the guns themselves.
Yeah.
There's some Colossus play that comes up now with a sniper scope. Hello. That's the first time we've seen that, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I don't think we've seen that.
So is that that's a charging shot sniper though, isn't it? That actually has to build up before it fires.
Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah. There's no... Yeah. Do you see that little pivot there? There's a pirouette he does in the air. That is something. Anyway. Green Interceptor. There's a few guns that we see down here. Of course, there's the vinyls that we just saw a moment ago. We've seen those before. But I think probably the most exciting element there was a Colossus sniper. I mean, really, that was the thing that stood out most for me. That's probably the freshest thing that we saw in the clip that we hadn't seen previously, and no doubt we'll. I suspect we'll see more of that in the coming week, perhaps even more from IGN and from the other people covering the game as well.
Yeah, hopefully.
Indeed. That's it. Again, remember I said before I was talking about profiles. This shot really emphasizes the profile difference between enemies. Look at the scar; it's so clear and defined, and the profile, and yeah, you know what I mean. So I'm curious to see how the other enemies can really differentiate from those. You want a good area of attack. You want something that you can actually see. You want something you can target. You want something that's fun to shoot at, and I think that's going to be important in their design. Of course, it's very late for them to be changing things, but. Yeah. We're yet to see everything. Just going to skip forward a little bit there as we wrap this up.
Oh, it's just so much to look at.
As I said, like without a doubt, this was the quality stream of the week that we just, IGN had great coverage, but this is the one that really stood out for me, and it just opened up. And this is only the last, couple of days that some of the guys are looking at it, and of course it's been translated into English by Core Jumper, who's in the community. So if you're interested in seeing the full gameplay reel of this and in English, you can check out discord.anthemuniverse.com to jump in and enjoy and engage with the community. We might wrap it at that. Binary, did you have anything you want to cover off before we finish?
No, just thank you to everybody that's joined us in stream, I guess. It's been fantastic to see you all in stream. Sorry I've not said hello to you directly, but Botsimo should have taken care of that. But obviously, please make sure that you jump in our Discord, and then we can talk to you directly as well. So we've got a bit more time. Make sure you do check out our website. The guys have spent like a huge amount of effort revamping that. If you are interested, the Dev Tracker really is a useful tool, and it's probably we get sort of 500-600 hits a day just on that page. So There's a lot of people looking at that page. And if also, obviously, we're putting together some stream teams. I've had about 30 different streamers hit me in the last 24 hours since I put that thing up, which is fantastic. I will say now, I am sorry I'm not going to be able to... we're going to start with just a small group first. I'm just going through them and vetting them all right now, and sort of picking the ones that are sort of best fit our community. So but I will message you all individually, and I will let you know if you're successful. And then as we progress and go through launch, we will add more of you in. But it's just unfortunately I'm just going to keep it very small at the time being. And that's it from me, mate.
Indeed, of course, and don't forget to jump into Twitter, follow us at Anthem Universe, and we're always making cuts and edits and all sorts of cute little things based on the content that we've got access to. There'll be more from that, by the way, from gameplay, from the Game Changers events that will be dropping very, very soon. So stay tuned for much more gameplay, much more snippets and cuts. I like dropping them on the Twitters because I think it just creates a conversation. It's like a dialogue. But at the same time, we'll also do some YouTube videos. We've got stuff coming up on music to talk about Sarah Satchler's music. And we've got some other elements talking to enemy intelligence, artificial intelligence, and other things that we'll see in the game. So do check it out. That's youtube.anthemuniverse.com. Stuff to talk about. There's lots to. So guys, we'll wrap it there. I'm Orgaz. As I said, check us out at the websites and the Discords and all those wonderful things. Thank you for joining us this evening, of course. And Javelins, freelancers, we will see you next.
Over the wall.